from a very messy Cape Town desk. I need to make a card that needs to go into a parcel, so I thought I would just record the process so that I can share it with you. So this was a piece of card. I need to find the right direction. I think it was like this, that I had left over on my desk, thinking I could possibly make a quick card with this. And then what stood out to me, there was a border here, so I decided to just trim that down. First things first is I am going to edge my card, and I'm using Distress ink in, is this oxide? Yeah, oxide in Scorched Timber. It is one of my favorite browns at the moment, I guess, until Tim comes out with a new color. So my card is measuring 5 inches by 5 inches, and we also need to edge this. So this comes from a paper collection that somebody gifted me. I think it was Nishi Harry. She came to Cape Town, came to visit because she's originally from Durban. And I admired the paper that she had used. And it turned out that she bought it somewhere in KwaZulu-Natal, if I remember correctly, and she kindly gifted me a pack. I've been hoarding it like we do, but I took it out recently, and this was like, I don't know, probably a few years back. But I love the colors because it's got all tones of browns and creams, so it's vintage. Okay, so that's done. Card is going to open that way, and so we are just going to lay that and that down, and then I thought I could just pop this up on a piece of foam tape, which would add dimension. So let's do that. I'm using Stamperia's craft glue. I think I need to move my thing just a tad forward. So the craft glue is one of my favorites because it does not warp your cardstock or your paper. So I'm going to put this one down first. I wonder if I should leave a slight border. Let's see. I'll leave a slight border. Yeah. So foam tape, and I use a 1.5 high foam tape. It's my favorite one. When you're putting foam tape down to prevent the paper underneath from warping, you have to be a little bit careful so that you don't pull it, because sometimes if you pull it, then it almost like it buckles the paper, so you have to be a little bit careful there. So I haven't thought further than this point, to be honest. Hence, I have no idea what's going to happen next. So, seed, we're going to leave like a tiny border there. And then this goes underneath. There we go. Right, what's next? probably need to stamp something in there, I suppose. Just see what I've got handy. Okay, so this one is from All and Create. Oh, I wonder if I have that here. Because sometimes I take it out of the bag and then I don't. Right, I didn't put it back. Typical. So I'm going to go with that. Same with this one. This is one of my favorites. Maybe I misfiled it. Unfortunately, this set, I don't think it's available anymore. It's from Stamperia. It was one of the first journal sets that came out. I'm going to go with those. Let's leave this one. Oh, these are just for you. I might use that. This could be the one that comes from the All and Create set. I think it is. Okay, so what do I want to do? Just gonna grab a Perspex block. Make sure I have it on the right side. I think I'm gonna go with a lighter color. See what the sepia looks like. That one can work. So let's see. We're gonna randomly stamp some images here. And I really like this, but I want it to be hidden in the background. So that was Versifying Sepia. I'm going to use the cream. Let's see how this one works, the cream one from Stamperia, because it just, and this is a water-based ink, but if I lift it up you can see it just gives you a subtle hint of those cracks. Now this paper has got like a coating on it, so I don't know if it's going to stay, but we'll see. Let's see. Can you see that? I'm not sure what's the right side. Okay, that is the right side. want to stamp just for you. I think I'm gonna put it there. I might do it on another piece. Let me think. Let me think. So we had a quick interruption there, apologies. I was saying that I wanted to, I can use white on here, but look at the contrast, it's very, very stark. So we want to create a tonal color that's going to match with that. I'll just do this off. This is an offcut, a strip that I cut off from another card. So with regards to adding color, you start by coming off your craft sheet and onto your card. And the reason for that is you don't want to create a blob. And I must say, the Stamperia inks are so nice and creamy that you hardly ever get a blob. So you come off your craft sheet onto your card, and it's as easy as that. And the darker the color, the more pressure you apply. If you want a light coverage, then you don't press as hard. It's as simple as that. And also, if you look at those blotchy areas, look, I'm not going to mind it now because I just want to create a tone of a similar color to match my paper. But if you were blending this for a specific purpose, then, and you want an even blend, number one, don't touch with your fingers because we have acid in our fingers that affects it, and it will lift if it's still wet. But you can smooth this out just by having a little bit of patience and playing with it. Okay, that's done. I think what happened to my stamp? Here's the stamp. It's an old stamp that I probably got from somebody. I love the font, but if you look at it, it's got very fine lines. So with regards to that, if you haven't stamped with something with a stamp, let's put it this way, if you haven't stamped with a stamp for a while, always a good idea to do a trial run. So every stamp differs in terms of how much, where's that blotch coming from, in terms of how much pressure you need to apply to it. Okay, make sure your stamp is clean, because sometimes there's a bit of, I'm going to press too hard so you can see what the difference is. Can you see how terrible it looks in comparison to that one? So I have an idea of how much pressure I need to apply. Just not see, I'm not completely in shot. And so we're going to ink it up. Now, especially with a thin line stamp, it's a very light tapping motion. You flip it, and if you see the stamp is a little bit shiny, you know that it's got coverage. And we are going to just apply a light pressure, and there you go. It's not perfect, but it can work. Just gonna wipe that, clean it. I don't know where that comes from actually. It is, and now while I'm looking at this, I'm seeing that I can actually add some crackles in the background. Maybe I should use the, let's do it. Nope. You know what? If I use that, I'm going to get the outside lines, and I don't want it. So this will be tone on tone. There we go. All that's left to do is to now decide if I'm going to cut it out by hand, use a trimmer or a die. I don't know if I have a die that works. Let's check. I don't see something long enough. How about this? Let's see if this one works. Oh yay, that's cool. So I'm just gonna take this, plonk it on there. I just want to make sure that it's dry. See, it's still a bit wet. Otherwise, what happens is when you run this through your die cutting machine, it actually messes up your plate. The ink transfers. Ask me. I've done it before. So maybe I want shall we put the, yes, I think that's gonna go that way. Right, so let's cut this out and we can assemble. Okay, so I have cut this out. There we go. And I am going to edge it with my distress oxide. And just very lightly. So all I want is just a little bit of an edge. I don't want to blend it in. I'm just creating a definition on the edge of this tag. So that when I put it down here, you can actually see the definition. Okay. Right, there are lots of other things that we can still do to this, but I'm not going to faff around too much because this parcel has to go. So I think what I like is popping it up on a bit of foam tape. I'm looking at it. Maybe we can rather put it there. Nope, I think it makes sense there. So I'm just making sure that that border is a little bit even. And there we go. I can probably add a little bit of bling. That's not the right color. Let's find a color that goes. Okay. I have no idea what this was for, but it's here, so we are going to use it. This is the only thing I dislike about these self-adhesive goodies, is that it has this very visible adhesive on it. Terrible. should ideally be using my smaller scissors. And I think I'm done. That's it. Bye now.